Okay, let's get this. Today's energy is the Ace of Cups being delivered, a renewal, a trophy. It's like this new cycle is the trophy for your last cycle. So, for those of us who are fearing losing the past, recognize that the fact that you get this new reality forever marks that you had to have come through a set of precursors just to get to this moment, and we will all be brought to that awareness every time we interact with your energy. Like, that is, look at this point here, cosmic exchange. You see, this is stimulation, you know. This is the internal cup being full. I'm hearing like first month's blood, like a year, you know what I mean? Like it's a whole cycle's worth of nutrients that's being stimulated by the external world. Somebody sees you grounding down the light. They see you. An opportunity is strategizing with the cheetah about how to, because they know you're going to be on the scene. They know their competitors. They know who could find you. So this is about how this energy can get to that temple, which is you, quickly, but with exactly what they need in order to combine. Oh my God. The moon in reverse. This is revelation. Ace of Cups, moon in reverse. Wow. An opportunity to weave interdimensional realities. Like, I see endless possibilities, endless untapped fabrics of miracles that you can weave with this opportunity that you may not have consciously known you guys were communicating. You may have, this comes in and you may have, it may be a revelation to you because you think you thought you weren't talking to them. You thought they weren't really listening. So you thought you gaslit yourself. And this coming in, again, I told you, this new opportunity represents that the old existed. It proves that you were in all of these places doing all of these things. It proves that you were who you always said you were. Eight of Pentacles. These webs prove that a spider went off, that a spider said, I'm doing numbers. All of these beautiful, intricate webs in this tree are emblematic of the journey that that individual or individuals put in to make that structure. And that may be a real revelation, right? When you don't realize that you and someone else are being called to the same place. It's a revelation. It's been revealed to you what was in the shadow. Remember, the moon is a whole rock all the time. Moon phases talk about our natural interaction, and this is a channeled message, our natural interaction with our own ego, right? How the limitations of the third dimension, that's what the moon cycle represents. I'm just intuiting, you know, because the moon is forced to be like a de facto like cause of all of these cycles here on this planet, but they're really all about Earth and not really about the moon, you know what I mean? Because again, there's always full moon, you know? But whether you see it as always being a full moon, that like anything that's for you or that's unconscious, that like in order to bring that to consciousness, or just to be aware that even projecting something at all, you're doing something at any time, you know? Like think about telepathic communication. Think about how you just, why are you thinking of something? Like what, like, I mean, could it be that at our dimension maybe we just process it as a random thought? But what if none of it's really random? What if the subconscious is a calculated space just like the conscious mind is? What if we know a lot more about our subconscious than we even want to admit, which is how it would more likely be if you really think scientifically. That learning about the larger capacities of the human brain and accessing that is actually probably a lot more like stillness than it is like super like abracadabra reality bending, I'm gonna move this candle with my mind kind of thing, you know what I mean? I think it would just go in the direction like inward. It's like how fabulous breathing is. Like when you really, really realize that breath is like the entity of spirit. Like there is always, wow, thank you for that affirmation. But spirit is an entity that we're interacting with intimately in our breath. Like some people spend their whole life like just there, you know? Wow, 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 wow. Spending their whole life just there. I just saw the Five of Swords in reverse, right? All that mental conflict, you know, that lose-lose, that nobody wins, none of it's connected. It's like we have such a hard time because our perspective being tethered here on Earth is about, you know, Earth. But there are all these other elements that center themselves, and we are more of a product of their perspective than the other way around. And either way, there's a wholeness to it. You're just connected. The answer is yes, you're connected. Because if we really, really could elevate or fast forward to a time where the subconscious was charted territory, we might see that none of this is accidental, you know? None of it. And that South Node was really important. This is like the Scorpio, it reminds me of like the Scorpio South Node energy, you know? Like if the leaf falls down, if you allow your vibration to wallow long enough, there is something at the bottom collecting and grinding up and replenishing with, you know? It's like time to get repurposed. Like if you're not gonna live in purpose, then it's time to get repurposed and try another lifetime type thing, you know? And I know that that can seem like they're dimensionally like, what? Like, oh my God, but it's not even like to be dramatic, but it's like really though, like at some point we have to decide and choose like, what are we really going to do? You know what I mean? What are we really like what are you really trying? What's your goal, you know? I think we're not really that goal oriented. Like we're not really that like aware of what we're trying to like make happen. And I feel like that's why like in my relationships right now, ooh Lord, I'm like activated. Like something right it's just like burp. But anyways, yeah, for the first time also, let me just give myself an affirmation. Like I feel like I'm processing like food, you know, for the first time. Like I feel like, yeah, I am really present and wow, love that. That I'm really present enough to like be nourishing my body, and that's like directly from having to cut out certain things that were like preventing me from leading a life that like was slow enough in pace in order for me to acknowledge that. So more things that the blender had to like chop up for me, but just acknowledging that it did get better. Like you went through all that stuff, but the point of going through that wasn't just to suffer. It's like, oh right, but after I go through that experience of purging and pruning and cutting off and severing ties. It's like the point is so that I feel better, you know what I mean? And I feel like my solar plexus just like shot some energy all the way out of my throat to make me acknowledge that. Like, you better tell them about the miracles that have been happening in your body, you know what I mean? Like just healing, because I was like pretty like malnourished through that period of time as well, just in general. Like nutrient deficient is a better way to put it, you know what I mean? Like I'm eating like regular meals a day, but just like really not retaining any of that. Yeah, so this just kind of feels like this is kind of how it felt. Like it feels kind of just like having to balance all the currency from everywhere, pooling together all that you have, you know what I mean? Spirit's giving a message. Okay. So then we got the Prince of Wands. Oh, wow. Wow. Thank you for letting me read that. So the first thing I was seeing is that this Prince of Wands is sending out like a smoke signal. He's like, all right. Like, I feel like the energy of the backstory is that this energy, which may be you, is like, I'm ready to be discovered. I'm ready to be found, because there's a conscious awareness that upon whoever responds to this ceremonious death and rebirth, like desire to expand into a different consciousness, you know, you've got this raven or crow, blackbird. Now I'm hearing blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. There it is. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly. Wow, into the light of the dark black. That's like the song right now. Yeah, that's definitely the song. But calling for a smoke signal, calling to attract an energy, and it looks like a Prince of Discs, which would be an equal, is sensing. These are the energies that are connecting. This is the conversation, right? Because what we didn't know, what was unknown, was that one wolf was the Prince of Discs, and the other wolf is the Prince of Wands. And they didn't, it's like, the revelation is that, like, it's going to be so clear that you were, like, connected and communicating the whole time. So anyways, these two are attracting one another, or are responding to each other's call, and it causes a tower. This really kind of reminds me of this like week of the like solar flares, you know what I mean? Like it's just gonna be like 100 degrees consistently every single day this week, and I feel like it's like how do I say, there is something to be, see, I was just going to say, wow, I was like, there's something to be said about the fact that like everybody else delivers a homogenous, sweeping sense of a mess. Does that make sense? And that's what I was just hearing. Like everyone else is giving this type of energy. This is what most people, like there's a lot of different people that are like, yeah, this is the thing to be observing. This is the way to be. And it's almost giving like, well, it's giving mess is what I'm hearing.
But it's like those people denote that kind of energy versus a stark energy that's like Hierophant, which is you. We know how I feel about the Hierophant, but look at this. You are like the beacon. You are the one who was prepared for this moment. That's the difference. And notice how the card colors here kind of come as a exact same palette. Like these two were meant to be next to each other. There's the majority that's in the burning Babylon, and then there's the Hierophant, which was someone who clearly spent the time to go on that. Remember, we talked about that sainthood journey. Who do you think is going to win Seven of Wands and get the partnership, get the contract, get the ceremony to become Three of Cups? Beautiful reading. Beautiful reading. Who do you think is going to Seven of Wands tower over? The highest firework is the biggest deal. Like, you might be one tent or this tent or the roller coaster, but I'm the fireworks, bruv. That's the recognition, is like, but you're the biggest. Because the firework is a blend of all, it's pyrotechnics, it's like the blend of all these elements. And that's who gets the union with Ma'at there. The Four of Wands, the sacred concept. It's like a royalty, like enacting the royalty, bro. Because this is like the gold aquamarine chalice of the renewal. Look, bro, look. We start with this activation, remember? That sensory nerve ending activation, simulating the wound, the internal cup. And we end with the platinum tricked out. It's like, boom. Like the rain came down, like it deflowered. Like it's almost like, it's like, you know, in those like, what is it? I don't know, but if there's like an egg that they were cutting in half that like opens up and then folds down like a sack of scrambled eggs, sort of like a Japanese style egg. That you've ever seen those like ASMR videos where they like slice it and it just like unfolds over the like bed of rice or whatever. That's how I feel like a slice coming right down brings these two to just, and the waters just take over. There's no separation. This is the spirit world and the natural world. This is the combination. This is unity consciousness. There's no separate elements anymore. This is Lumia. This is like Atlantis, you know what I mean? We realize that by separating out the fire source from the space matter, from the green bio life to the actual fresh water, to the ground and the layers of granite and stone, and the sky and the air is up here, and the condensation and the clouds over there. Like, do you realize that we're going from separate world to when we cut unity consciousness? This could not be any more beautiful. This is what's coming. This is what's coming. Wow, glory be to the Most High. And I've just shown you, and we'll go back over it one more time because it's a juicy spread. It's a juicy spread. But it's like Ace of Cups. You get the renewal. It starts raining inside. Like, it just starts raining uncontrollably, and the water just keeps rising and everybody's like, whoa, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing, dude? Keep those tides down. And what if it's like, nah, what if it's like, if I have the power to fill to the shoreline every day, can I go past that? Can we make a reality where we're not just ebbing and flowing with the tides? Can we bend our cycles? Can we experience unity consciousness where it's not separate experiences, but you feel me, I feel you, and our individuality creates a new ecosystem that doesn't thrive on us being closed energetically to one another? So this starts getting stimulated. Ace of Cups, boom. And the water just goes crazy. That was that Piscean, and that was like at the beginning of when I started my channel. I just saw 2002. And you're gonna realize that you're a whole moon. So there's this revelation period where you realize like something comes in, something is now conscious, where you realize like, oh, we were communicating the whole time. Then that's stupid for me to have been anxious or just like allowing the devil to like play itself like that, because really and truly, like, you two were being led by the same energy, you know, whether you were aware of it or not. You were communicating telepathically. And this is how it looked. You were sending off the smoke signal that you wanted to be discovered. This is a receptive energy. This is I hear the call. I'm being guided, you know? Right? Because this is that like Wheel of Fortune. Like, this is when you get the piece of machinery or the equipment that like sets it off. You know what I mean? That could make you spin whatever you make in here and produce whatever, mass produce things, you know? And this person has the inspiration, the magic wand to like help them alchemize. That's you and this person, or this energy, or this job, or this whatever. And the reason it's working, the reason they know you're the one, is because the majority are experiencing the fall of like Babylon, like are just so, you know, they feel so affected by what they perceive as towers falling and volcanoes exploding. And you've created this whole sacred temple, and it's like you were the person who was ready for this energy to respond and say, okay, calm down. You're only experiencing that because you were lazy. Like, that's like how black and white it is. Like, it silences that. Like, fear goes away because it's like, if you don't want to pay, and when I say spiritually lazy, I just mean like, if you don't want to do the shadow work, because that's another big thing. Like, you could really be a vibe for someone, but if you're just like averse to certain shadow work that someone else isn't averse to, then like,
you will show up as the tower when they show up as the Hierophant every single time. We could be vibrationally matching, but you are the tower, I'm the Hierophant, you know what I mean? It pays to be prepared with your own book of spiritual wisdom. That's what they need. They need somebody who can lead us, you know? And you tower over. You are the firework that towers over. No matter how big somebody's tent thought they were, even the tallest roller coaster swore they had it, bro. And
there you go at the top.
As the literal fireworks that steal the show, I hear. And it's like the stacks of gold, like you can have half the company type beat. Like, it's so union, 1111, divine partnership. And like we said, we end here, unity consciousness. The Pisces fish in the yin and yang that are stuck in a cycle of swimming in connection to each other are free to swim for the first time, because while they're in the cup, they don't have anywhere to swim, so they just go in a circle, because that's the only way they can go, like, field distance, you know? But now they can travel a distance. But you were learning the connection between the distance you can go the same distance in a cup. So that's how you were training. You were like, okay, well, I might be in a cup right now. I might be just getting stimulated and pulled, and the elements are acting up and are mad and because separate mindedness is just so inefficient, because we all have different sources. And we all can't rely on each other. So I just turned up the water, bro. I audited all my emotions for the first time, and I let it overflow to where it couldn't be contained by the shell that my old life was in. And in that way, this rainbow that I had for myself could be feeding and nourishing my ecosystem. And then my whole expression supports me moving forward, and it's less work to be alive, you know? I'm so grateful for this message. Like, this is so literal, in your face. Like, we started at one end and we end at the like gold, platinum, shiny, because this is like the gold that's shared, transferred at the bank, and this is like the dynasty. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's beautiful energy. Like, beautiful energy. Wow, 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 wow. And you're just waiting for the decision to be made. The baby's ready to pop out. The judgment's ready to be made. All right, you're about to give birth. You see, like, this looks like the breast of the chest. You know what I mean? You're birthing yourself out of the chrysalis. Out of the chrysalis is what I should call this judgment card. Out of the chrysalis. When you shot yourself out of the chrysalis, when you took that step, when you let the waters overflow and break through all of your confines, all the things that you swear to yourself you could never do, you realize that you are the source. It's like when the water overflowed, it realized it was the source. The cup, I'm the thing. I'm the living organism here. So I am what can free everyone. I can free myself and free everyone, you know, by recognizing that I went on this whole journey. This reflection externally is going to be a reflection of you realizing you're the source. So now you meet other energies that realize they're their own source, and then you guys can come together because it's just based on like preferences and like expressions and like experiences and how you want to collab and what you want to create. So it's like, then you start building all of that. But that's this journey. Like, there is a partnership that comes in that is like, they realize that you are your own source and the value of you, because you have your own power. They know you have the power to shatter everything and make a whole new world. They're right now in a very separate energy, and they need someone to come in and who wants to slice it open and inhabitate where everything is together, and you birthing yourself is like going to feel amazing. Thank you so much for this message. It's exciting.